And the environmental nutcases that are out there and the extremists and some of our attorneys too have convinced us that we got to use a different language with our customers. But you know what? I'm convinced that we don't. And a lot of people disagree with me about this, but like I said, I didn't come here to teach you anything. I just came here to get you to think. And I hope that thinking leads you to more customers next year. Here's 10 questions that you had better be asking yourself on a daily basis. And I'm dead serious here. You know, I said this was kind of a humorous talk, but I'm dead serious here. You better be asking yourself every day, am I changing with the times? Am I changing with the times? If we're doing business the way we did, 20 years ago, you wouldn't exist. You don't even have those materials anymore, those pesticides, that equipment. Everything has changed. Technology has changed, not only for marketing and advertising your business, but from locating pests. It's high tech. It gets more and more high tech every day. If you're doing the business exactly the way you were 6 months ago, you're headed for trouble, because technology is changing so fast, and we're going to get left behind. So we need to be changing with the times and keeping up with what's going on out there. Are you taking advantage of new technologies? There are some of you, I would imagine, who don't even have websites yet. And I can't imagine being able to survive in a business over the next few years without a website, because it's going to be like the person back 40 years ago who didn't have a telephone. We all knew somebody that just didn't have a telephone. They held out. And then some people didn't get a copy machine. Communication is just being driven through the internet now. You need to be able to take advantage of it. I'm a technophobe. I really am. I get drug into this stuff kicking and screaming, but I look and see what's available to me out there. And I say, I have to do this if I'm going to survive, especially if you want to grow. You have to take advantage of the technologies that are out there. Am I in compliance? You just need to ask yourself, am I in compliance? Because if you're a non-compliant individual or a non-compliant company, you're going to bring on a certain share of miseries that you're going to have to live with. So being compliant with state, federal, local, your customers, relationships. You just need to be compliant if you want to get along and move forward. Am I committed to do whatever it takes to make my customers happy? Some of you are not, because I talk to customers, and being a regulator for 10 years gives you a whole different insight to how some of us handle our customer service issues. And man, I've seen people just cost themselves so much money in new business simply by bowing up with a customer and not doing whatever it took to make that customer happy. If you say, well, that customer, I did a $800 termite job on that house, or $1,200 termite job, and that customer wants all their money back. I'm not about to give them all their money back. Well, if you could look at it on paper and see it worked out in a pyramid over what happens with that one customer, you might rethink giving them their money back, whatever it takes to make them happy, because it's just simply going to cost you in the long run when that customer is at work or at the bowling alley or wherever people are out to dinner, and somebody says, you don't know a good exterminator, do you? That person's either going to say, yes, I do, or here's one you need to stay away from. And then that person tells somebody else. So it spreads like a disease. It really does. Unhappy customers cost untold amounts of new sales and new business that we never know about. So it doesn't bother us because we don't know about it. But if you could really see how that dynamic works, you would say, oh my gosh, you just have to keep them happy. Do you constantly let your customers know how much you appreciate them? How many people here would say you reach out and touch your customers an average of 3 times a year? 5 times, 10 times a year, 20 times a year. I got a guy who, a friend of mine, he's a marketer too. He owns a Napa car care center up in Atlanta. He said, counting emails, phone calls, special flyers, snail mail, email blasts, he has continued to grow and survive during the last 4 years of our economy when auto repairs and that type of industry was just crushed. I said, how many times do you reach out and touch your customers a year? He said, an average of 84 times a year. He said, there's never a week goes by, never over 3 or 4 days go by that my customers don't hear from me. He said, I never ever want them to forget who I am, and it just generates tons of referrals. Now, if we want to touch our customers 84 times a year, I doubt if any of us will ever do that, but we need to let our customers constantly know how much we appreciate them. And you do that by communicating with them. If somebody calls your office and you schedule an appointment, if you go out to do an inspection, if somebody comes in to pay a bill, if whatever contact you have with your customer under any circumstances, it doesn't matter what it is, at the end of the conversation you need to say, and by the way, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you and your business and you having faith in my company. Just want to make sure you know that. And it will warm their heart. Trust me on that. We live in a society today where 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and if you sit down and talk to people when they got divorced, the most common denominator is somebody says, they just didn't appreciate me. I just didn't feel appreciated. I just was not appreciated. So your customers are the same way. If you don't let them know that you appreciate them over and over and over again, some other company will come along sometime and whisper something in their ear and they'll drop you and run off with them. So 66% of all people who cancel their service with a business, 66% say they cancel because they didn't feel like their business was appreciated. That is a major big deal, folks. Big deal. So let them know. Am I a team player? I tell people, you need to run your business the same way a professional sports team runs, a baseball team. Everybody's got a position to play. What happens to somebody if they don't play their position and they start screwing up out there? They get rid of them. So you need to be a team player. If you're a team player, whether you're an owner, a manager, a salesperson, a technician, a receptionist, a secretary, office manager, whatever, if you're a team player, you will go far in the long run. You will always keep moving forward. If you're not a team player, you're going to be spinning your wheels. Am I continuously striving to get better at what I do? How many of you are satisfied with the way you are right now, and you don't care if you ever get any better doing anything from now on? You're doing it good enough. That's just not, things change, and we need to be changing. We need to be trying to get better and better. It's more competitive out there now, so we need to be able to outcompete our competition. We need to get better and better. Am I quick to ask for help once I realize it? Some people get in trouble with their books, their operations, all kind of things go wrong. And we don't want to ask for, especially guys, we're bad about not asking for help. We'll get lost and stay lost all day when we're 3 miles away from something, but we don't want to stop and ask somebody how to get there because we think it makes us look bad. So if you realize you need help with something, ask for help. If you need to call a tax person, an accountant, a regulator, a coach, a consultant, whatever problem you're having in your business, don't settle for it. Ask for help if you need it. How does my business look from the outside? How do the people in your community see your business? If you have a route, how do your customers see you? If you determine how do people perceive you? Because they'll be attracted to you or repelled from you by the way they view you from the outside, and that can mean physically viewing, or it can just mean talking to somebody on the phone. How do you answer the phone? Hello, or it's a great day. It's a great day at Acme Exterminating. This is Fred. How can I help you today? Some life there. That's somebody's first contact with your business. I told my guys one time, I said, we're going to start answering the phone like this. It's a great day at North Fulton Exterminating. This is Bob. How can I help you today? I said, let me hear you say it. And I had this one guy who said, It's a great day, Norfolk Exterminators. Bob, how can I help you? I said, no, that won't do. I said, you got to sound like you're alive. You got to man. I said, say that again. He said, it's a great day, Norfolk Exterminators. Bob, how can I help you? I said, no. I said, don't let him answer the phone anymore. You know, you want to sound good from the outside. And am I willing to explore new ideas in order to improve myself and my business? Man, we get set in our ways. Human beings are bad about it. Change, we hate change. Change represents a threat to us. That's the way our subconscious mind perceives change. That's why we shy away from it. You know, we're doing it good enough here, but here's something you could change to do it better. I have people pay me big bucks to show them some changes they can make in their businesses to grow it and get more new customers, and they see it plain and clear. They say, oh, this is so easy. It's going to be a piece of cake. I say, and it's going to work so well. And then I talk to them 6 months later and say, have you done that yet? Well, no, I haven't done it yet. Why not? Well, I just haven't gotten around to it. You know, I just don't quite have my ducks in a row yet. Ducks? You know anything about ducks? Ducks don't get in a row till they start moving and going somewhere. There's in one spot they just mill around, but if one of them starts swimming off, they all get in a row and they swim. So I said, you ducks will get in a row when you start moving, going somewhere.